in Nottingham when they applied back in March. No news so far today.
I have been checking quite regularly, about every half hour. It's the first time I think I've wanted to see money come out of my bank account to confirm that we might have tickets. So, yeah, it's a bit apprehensive.
I'm Jonathan Edwards and I'm here to talk you through how to apply for the greatest tickets.
All those who have requested tickets have been warned by London 2012 that money could be taken out of their accounts at any time over the next 3.5 weeks.
Certainly the ticketing process for a lot of consumers has been a confusing and not very transparent process. A lot of people have been wondering when money's going to be taken out, what tickets they're going to win, and even where they're going to be sitting if they prove successful. So a lot of consumers really left on the starting blocks when it comes to the whole process.
3, 2, 1, go.
Plenty of fancy footwork will be required by Lord Coe over the coming weeks as he manages the disappointment of those who don't get tickets, while promoting the merits of sports which aren't sold out, like the one today's opponent, Boris Johnson,
There's a win.
calls whiff-waff. There'll be plenty more photo calls like this over the coming months as organisers try to get rid of the remaining tickets. We know that those for some of the more popular events have been snapped up. The challenge now for 2012 is to get rid of those for some of the less high-profile events.
In 2012,
Olympic competitors often need a little luck on their side. When it comes to getting hold of the best tickets, spectators will require the same, and some patience too. James Pearce, BBC News.
Well, there's more national and international news on the BBC's News Channel, but now we can join our news teams where you are. Good night.
Hello and a very good evening from BBC London News. The Old Bailey has been hearing from Millie Dowler's father about how he'd been the original suspect in her disappearance after police found pornography in the family home. Robert Dowler broke down in court after letters written by his daughter were read out. The man on trial for Millie's kidnap and murder, Levi Belfield, denies the charges. Alex Bushell reports.
Today was the turn of Millie Dowler's father to give evidence. A succession of letters and poems by his 13-year-old daughter were read out loud. In them he heard how Millie described herself as not being pretty and that everyone was against her. In a second note found in her bedroom, she wrote, "Dear Daddy and my beautiful mummy, by the time you find this letter I will be gone. It would be best for you to try to forget me. I will always love you. I am sorry, but lots of love. Your little disappointment." As those documents were read out loud, Bob Dowler wiped away tears and sobbed, "It is very distressing."
The court then heard how Millie had written another note thanking a friend for helping her through this whole dad thing. In the witness stand, Mr. Dowler broke down in tears. He explained that he thought this could only refer to when Millie had inadvertently discovered pornographic material of his under a chest of drawers in his bedroom. There was a large amount of explicit magazines, books and videos as well.
The court also heard how Bob Dowler had been a suspect himself before Levi Belfield was arrested and charged with her murder. The prosecution says Levi Belfield, a former bouncer, is a predatory and violent offender who was living here a few yards away when Millie disappeared 9 years ago. She had just left Walton-on-Thames train station to walk home. Her remains were found 6 months later in woods 25 miles away. Belfield is also charged with the attempted kidnap of another girl in 2002. He denies both charges. This afternoon, Bob Dowler left court accompanied by his wife. The case is adjourned until tomorrow when she will give her evidence. Alex Bushell, BBC London News.
A 14-year-old boy is in a serious condition after being stabbed in West London. Police and ambulance were called just before 4 o'clock this afternoon after the incident at Hammersmith Broadway bus station. There have been no arrests. The expenses trial of the former leader of Essex County Council, Lord Hanningfield, has been hearing how he dishonestly claimed for travelling and overnight accommodation. On the first day of the case, the prosecution alleged that the 70-year-old knew he was not entitled to the money, something Lord Hanningfield denies. Andrew Sinclair has this report.
As a member of the House of Lords, he doesn't get paid a salary, but he is allowed to claim expenses. Today, Chelmsford Crown Court was told that Lord Hanningfield did not respect the rules. A lot of this revolves around the evenings when he was working late in London. Peers who need to stay the night are allowed to claim an allowance to cover overnight accommodation. But the court was told that on the days he claimed, Lord Hanningfield was nearly always driven back to his home in Essex. When he wasn't, he was either staying elsewhere on county council business, or on one occasion was on a flight to India. Lord Hanningfield regularly claimed travel expenses to London, yet the county council provided him with a chauffeur-driven car. And if he used the train, he paid for his ticket with his county council credit card. The peer, who was highly regarded within Conservative circles, told police that he thought that if he was working in London, he was entitled to the overnight allowance, whether or not he stayed there. He also said that on many occasions he had been left out of pocket, claiming the allowance was a way of making up the difference. A lot of today was taken up with hearing how the House of Lords expenses system worked. The court was told it was largely run on trust. Staff would briefly glance over the claims when they came in, but members didn't have to provide any expenses. Claire Montgomery, QC for the prosecution, said the House of Lords assumed members would give a truthful and accurate account without having to prove they were telling the truth. Lord Hanningfield, she said, took advantage of that trust. Lord Hanningfield denies all the charges. The trial continues.
Andrew Sinclair with that report. 1 in 8 school children in London are being offered a free ticket to next year's Olympics if their school signs up to a special programme. But so far, less than 20% of schools have done so. Our Olympics correspondent Adrian Warner has been reminiscing with one pensioner who last saw the London Games when he was a schoolboy.
Tony Day has already been to a London Olympics. The 72-year-old went to the athletics events at the 1948 Games as a child.
It was a magnificent experience, and I'm really enthusiastic and hopeful of getting tickets for 2012.
And today the Londoner was checking his bank account to see how many tickets he's been allocated for 2012.
So how much have you asked for total in money?
Well, I think as far as my wife and I are concerned, I think around 1,700.
Ticket says got the right thing.
But while there's been a big rush for the tickets people pay for, Boris Johnson was today still trying to sell the idea of free tickets for school children. He's got 125,000 on offer for Londoners, paid for by a levy on hospitality tickets.
What needs to happen now is that all the schools that haven't yet signed up, 3,000 have, 15,000 haven't. They need to get online, just do a little bit of stuff about their Olympic plans, how they share the Olympic ideals or how they're going to promote them, whatever, fill in the form, and then they can use their allocation of tickets in any way that they like to motivate their kids. That's the idea.
To get access to the tickets, the students have to bring the Olympic values of excellence, respect and friendship into their daily lives.
There's numerous things I could do. Punctuality and attendance is important.
By volunteering and taking part in an array of activities, displaying the general Olympic values.
Whether you're paying for your tickets or not, the real virtue you need in this process is patience. It's going to be a while before most people find out whether they've got the tickets that they want. Adrian Warner, BBC London News.
A major exhibition of Tracey Emin's work opens in London this week. A huge variety of her often controversial artwork spanning 18 years will be displayed at the Hayward Gallery on the South Bank, along with some new pieces. OK, with a look at tomorrow's weather now, here's Wendy Hurrell.
Some clear sky out there at the moment, but it's gradually clouding over again, so very overcast for your journey to work tomorrow. And once again, there could be 1 or 2 spots of rain, although nothing substantial. Mild at around 11 or 12 degrees, and by the afternoon, we could be up to between 17 and 20 degrees Celsius. The rest of the week looking brighter, not very much rain for the gardens though.
And that's it from us this evening. Newsnight is getting underway on BBC Two. From me, though, I wish you a very good night.
Hune's defence. Newsnight has new evidence tonight. I've spent much of today trying to piece together what Chris Huhne